So Joe Biden recently went on an interview on The Breakfast Club with Charlamagne Tha God and decided to say that if Charlamagne has difficulty deciding between him and Trump, it means that he's not really black. Let's take a look at this clip. Then I have a few things to say.
Well, I saw today that a news report broke that Amy Klobuchar was being vetted, and a lot of people on social media, they're not too happy about that. And it's because they want your running mate to be a black woman. I don't know if you saw the op-ed in the Washington Post by some of the leading black women voices in this country, and they feel since black women are such a loyal voting bloc, and black people saved your political life in the primaries this year, they have things they want from you, and one of them is a black woman running mate. What do you say to them?
What I say to them is that I'm not acknowledging anybody who is being considered, but I guarantee you there are multiple black women being considered. Multiple.
Well,
Thanks so much. That's really our time. I apologize.
You can't do that to black media.
I can't do that to white media and black media because my wife has to go on at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see.
Take a look at my record, man. I extended the voting rights 25 years. I have a record that is second to none. The NAACP has endorsed me every time I've run. Come on. Take a look at the record.
All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Anyway, thanks. I will come back.
So I actually tried to make this video earlier today. I sat down to record. I was so angry though that I couldn't do it. I couldn't make a coherent video. It was basically just me like yelling. So I was like, I can't upload this. And I am incredibly angry at the fact that Joe Biden has the nerve to say something like this. So I've mentioned it a few times on this channel before. Both of my parents voted for Donald Trump. Both of my parents supported Donald Trump last time around. Now, I don't agree with that decision, and they'll tell you a million times that I've argued with them about that decision. But you know, my dad's black. My dad is black, and for him, Joe Biden, a white man, to come around and say, oh, I know what your interests really are. You know, you're voting against your self-interest. Oh, if you don't vote for me, then you're not really black. You're not doing the thing that black people are supposed to do. That is an incredibly racist thing to say. Joe Biden, I mean, that remark is so racist. In fact, it's one of the most racist remarks that I've seen in politics. I mean, apart from some of the remarks Donald Trump has made, that is probably one of the most racist things I've heard in politics in a long time. For Joe Biden to come out and say something like that, like, oh, if you don't vote for me, then that means that you're not really black. You're not doing the thing. You know, in this country, black people have so many expectations put on them that, oh, they have to walk a certain way. They have to talk a certain way. They have to act a certain way. They have to eat a certain way. And if black people don't act the way that, oh, he wants, that way that Joe Biden, that white people want black people to act, then they're not really black. If a black person starts taking on the mannerisms of a white person, the voice of a white person, that means, oh, well, they're not really black. They're not black in the way that they should be black. It's just so racist. It's so incredibly racist. In this so-called gaffe, this Freudian slip, it's not really a Freudian slip, but the gaffe that everybody says, oh, it's just a gaffe, it's just a mistake. First of all, it's not the first time he said stuff like this. But second of all, no, it's a gaffe for a reason. It's a gaffe because it shows his mindset. It shows the mindset of how he really thinks black people should be. He said, oh, well, this is how black people act. Black people vote against Donald Trump. Black people vote against Republicans. And look, yeah, it's true. It's true. A lot of black people do. But that doesn't deny the individuality of individual black people and the choices that they make, the choices that we make. And it makes me so angry for Joe Biden to do something like that, for Joe Biden to come out and say something like this. And then, oh, we're just supposed to suck it up because, oh, Donald Trump is 1,000 times worse. Guys, I agree Donald Trump is worse than Joe Biden, but that doesn't mean that we have to accept Joe Biden. It's incredibly racist. It's just, I'm still angry about it. I want to show you something that Brianna Joy Gray put out about this because I think, you know, she's a really good voice of reason in some of this. So this is sort of a response here because some people were saying, well, it may be racist in terms of a white man saying that you shouldn't, or that you're not black if you don't do something, sure, but is it racist in itself to comment that that this is something which actually oppresses people? I think he's referring to like Donald Trump there. No, basically he's saying that it's actually not a racist comment in itself, but that it's only racist because a white person said it. I don't agree with that with that at all. And Brianna Joy Gray had a really good response here. It's like, I do think it's racist and essentialist to tie someone's racial or cultural identity to their politics in any case. I may disagree with some black Republicans and think they vote against our broadly shared racial interest, but they're still black. Same with black moderates. They're also black. You know, the idea, here's a, I think this is really right here. Black folks love to say, well, we're not a monolith, and then they turn around in the same breath and castigate as not black anyone who strays from the majority. I think we're smart enough to criticize the politics of those who disagree without challenging our racial bona fides. I think that's absolutely right, and it's just a really good voice of reason here that, you know what, we can actually have a little bit of nuance in our political discourse here. We don't have to say that, like, oh, if you vote a different way, if you think a different way, then that means, oh, well, you're not really black. Because it's a racist thing to do. You're categorizing someone. You're saying that their entire identity is tied up with this one thing. It's completely disgusting to completely just categorize something like that. In fact, let me just show you this here. This is trending. Joe Biden is a racist is trending on Twitter right now. And quite frankly, like, I agree. Like, the fact that Joe Biden, same person who wrote the crime bill, Joe Biden, same person who has incredible gaffes all the time about, white kids being the rich kids and black kids being the poor kids. I mean, just disgusting stuff comes out of his mouth constantly. But yet, oh, we're just supposed to suck it up. Oh, we're just supposed to vote for Joe Biden. You can make up your own mind. No matter what race you are, no matter what sexual orientation you are, make up your own mind. Like, listen to the arguments and make up your own choice, and don't be put into some category, put into some box that you have to think some way, because you know what that is? Putting you into a box because you're gay, because, you're black. You have to think a certain way. That's racist, that's homophobic, and it's completely bigoted. Anyway, I don't I don't know what else to say about this other than, like, Joe Biden, like, this is racist. Anyway.